Hello, Quantum Life community. I am going live with a little special energy update as we enter the twin season. I just wanted to welcome all of you guys to my community Facebook group. That is kind of a quick approach for me to be able to check in with all of you guys who follow me. Most of you probably have found me on YouTube by now or have been following me on Facebook. This is one of my community groups that I have. So when you guys jump online, just give us a shout out on where you're from. We're all over the world now, so we're utilizing social media to be able to connect live with all of you guys around the world. So it's a very cool process to have these groups on Facebook. Let me get rid of that. So as you guys are jumping online, again, I just want to welcome you and let you know that if you guys have recently joined my subscription group, I know a lot of you guys last week joined. Once you actually click the join now button, there is a subscription, link that you need to follow, and it will take you to basically register. And then once you do that, if you could send an email, and I will put the link of the email in the comments for you guys. And also, if you look on the subscription page, there's a link for you to basically let our team know that you have registered. Facebook doesn't do it automatically, so we have to go in and manually bring you into the secondary groups. And we've got several secondary groups on Facebook for those who are really ready to power through your journey. The reason why I decided to go live this week is because as the energy and everything increases, Second Sunday is just not enough for me to be able to kind of pipe in and give you kind of a snapshot of energy updates. So what I've decided to do is every Tuesday night I do a live question and answer in my subscription group, which is Quantum Life TICA. And it lasts about 2 hours. There's usually anywhere between 10 and 16, 17 questions. I channel everything, and I will tell you the way that I channel is I channel three different perspectives of you: your higher self, your ego, and your body. So believe it or not, your higher self has one piece of information for you. Your ego has another piece of information, or the what we like to call the me, myself, and I part of you. And your body is also telling you stories. And so usually when I do these live question and answers, I'm able to just tap into your timeline and directly answer from basically the viewpoint and the information point and the operational point of who is speaking through. So if it's a emotional problem, I'm going to channel the emotional body; physical problem, physical body; ego, identity. So we're really able to kind of get in there and channel every different aspect of you. It makes the question and answers a lot of fun for me, and they've become very popular. Just FYI, if you guys are new to my subscription group, you guys are going to get so much. There's over a year of channeled information in that group alone. Not to mention that I'm going live twice a week. So really, you could spend a good solid like 6 or 7 months just in the Facebook group and get your whole journey laid out, because I channel in the moment, which means that I don't use time and space when I channel, which means that whether I said it a year ago or I said it 2 weeks ago, it will be relevant in time and space because I don't use time and space to channel. So nothing is ever outdated. I stick to quantum theory, and as far as being able to bring all different viewpoints and modalities into the journey. It's my teaching is not specific to, shamanism or, angelic information or ET information. It is literally quantum. So what I'm doing is I'm tapping into the field of potential. I'm accessing your timeline. I'm accessing your body, your ego, and your higher self to bring the information through. So it's a really fun tool for me to be able to utilize Facebook in this way. So I just wanted to welcome you guys. And if you are interested in joining that group, it is Jessica Alstrom Quantum Life TICA, T-I-C-A. And that's abbreviation for Transcendence International Consciousness Academy. It's a mouthful. That's why we lovingly call it TICA. We are getting ready to start our second week in that group of a new workshop that I have downloaded called Milking Frequency. And I'm going to kind of talk about this a little bit in the energy update. I've decided to go in this group once a week on Tuesdays at 8:15 p.m. Central Time to give you a channeled message because the energy is just so intense right now, and so many of your lives are changing so rapidly, and believe it or not, Earth will look completely different in 7 years from today, well, of May 15th. So we have shifted into a huge evolution cycle. So we've been getting ready. For the last 7 years, we have been prepping for basically 2018, because 2018 is like, you know, we've been working up to the mountain, up to the mountain, up to the mountain, up to the mountain. And really now in 2018, the ball is going to start rolling down, which means everything that we've been prepping for, working for, planning for, awakening for, transitioning for, basically getting everything ready for the next 7-year cycle that's really, it's integrating right now. So I feel very called to get to all of my groups and do a channeled message for all of you for wherever stage of the journey that you're ready for. Obviously, this community group, I'm going to pop in, I'm going to give you about a 10 or 15 minute message. I'll give you second Sundays once a month. And then my real teaching is in my subscription group and in my academy/university that we have online here as well. And that's for the people who are ready to go all the way with their potential. So let me jump into the message. First and foremost, we're in Gemini season, and if any of you are familiar with the Gemini energy, it is really about duality. It is about, you know, the devil and the angel on your shoulder. It is about kind of being able to live in the shadows and live in the light, and as it's an air sign, it's really about flow. It's really about flow. But as we have brought in all of this serious grounding earth energy that's come through, it's going to feel like this pressure of just like pulling you apart from all of your own shadows. So, you know, for a long time, all light workers on the planet have had to live kind of a double life. You know, who you are with your spiritual friends is probably not who you are with your spouse, or who you are with your mom, or who you are with money, or who you are with time, or who you are with your own body. I've met a lot of spiritual people that are sick. I've met a lot of spiritual people that are broke. I've met a lot of spiritual people that cannot be themselves in their relationships. And for the past 7 years, we have been working on the I am. We have been really working on understanding our state of being, raising our awareness, raising our consciousness, you know, working through our own stuff. And really now what's happening is the universe is saying, okay, we cannot expand if you've got secrets with yourself, if you're living double lives, if you're still living a false secure life, if your home is not here, if you're not sharing the PhD of your heart with the world, if you are not walking your talk, if you are not standing up for the things that you believe in, if you are not telling your story, if you are not healing, if you are not doing any of these things, the universe is going to kind of help shake all of your fear loose. And this Gemini energy that we're moving into is doing just that. It's causing everything to be extremely pressurized. So the body is going to experience more pain. And I will be talking about that in the question and answer tonight, because I kind of briefed some of the questions earlier just to see like where the flow would be. And there was a couple of questions about body pain. And I will tell you that body pain is an imbalance of two frequencies that cannot house the same body. You're going to have an extreme positive frequency and an extreme negative frequency in a body, and not have the body be in discord. Okay? Discord is the process of being uncomfortable. Dis-ease is chronic, basically out of alignment frequencies, which means I know I am pure positive potential, and I am a victim, playing dual roles in the physical body. Imagine what that would do. Imagine a toddler, two toddlers pulling on something and it's ripping. That's what's causing so much physical pain in the physical body right now. It isn't always ascension symptoms. Believe it or not, ascension symptoms should rise up, they should move through you, and they should rise out. Ascension symptoms are not chronic. Okay, if you're having chronic stuff going on with your body, I really want you to look at your dual belief systems that you're housing in your body right now. Dual belief systems. I am abundant and free. I am not free. I'm not safe. I'm not seen. I'm not heard. I'm not loved, right? You'll be having those, basically that war going on inside of yourself, and it's going to cause intense pressure. Now, depending on where your belief system is being held in the body will be where the pain is located. Everything in the universe is so damn simple. It's literal and it's logical when it comes to, okay, I have been having chronic stomach pain for the past 15 years. Where is your stomach, right? Your creative center, your power center, your survival center, right? That means that there's out of alignment beliefs that are dually conflicting going on in that part of your body. Okay, so if we want to heal the body, we have to go all the way inside, which means we have to look at you physically, chemically, and emotionally. That means that we have to look at the things that you've believed into, bought into, the collective that you are responding to, the life that you are behaving yourself to, you know, how you're behaving in your life, what you're putting in your body. Because basically what 5D is a purification process. That's what 5D is. In order to function and manifest through the fifth dimension, there has to be a level of transparency within you. There has to be you knowing you, which means you're the same person with your spouse that you are with money, that you are with your body, that you are with time, that you are with your spiritual work, that you are with, you know, the neighbor down the street that doesn't understand your lifestyle, which is, you know, and the pedophile that's, you know, being locked up for hurting children. Are you the same person? Because when we come down to the fact that we are basically becoming transparency and going back to love, we cannot harbor judgment, logic, you know, false securities, false paradigms, all of these things. And so if your life is literally being kind of torn apart right now, know that it is happening for you, through you, with you, not to you. You are not a victim of this reality. You are the creator of your reality. And from a higher perspective, you are puppeteering all of your physical reality to behave in the path of least resistance, which means higher self is navigating, going, okay, it's really time for ego to evolve and move into, meaning duality is trying to become unity. Duality stays separate from basically lack of awareness. So the less you are aware of certain aspects of yourself, the more your life has to get ripped apart for you to notice. Because it is when you are in crisis, in survival, you know, dire straits, desperate, is usually the time that you look up from your rut, your routine, your suffering, and say, okay, something's got to give. And the universe is literally going to use this kind of energy to kind of rock you forward. Okay, so if you look at how astrology is aligned, and I am not an astrologer, zero, but I do use it as a guidepost and a map to kind of help you understand that even though we have certain collective roadmaps that we follow, I look at astrology as a roadmap, not an absolute. Just like numerology is a roadmap, it's not an absolute. Because perspective is reality, which means you could look at astrology one way and you could define, you know, the horoscope. And then you could look at it from your ego's perspective and you could have a whole another conclusion. So perspective trumps any guidelines or any roadmaps that we have. I mean, you could go down the street and you could look at it as you're going the right way, or you can go at it as you're going the wrong way, depending on whose perspective you're looking at. I teach the premise of me, myself, and I, which means you have a higher knowing, higher level of consciousness, a super consciousness. You have a physical body that houses both the higher super consciousness and the ego component, which is the disassociated part of yourself. Basically, in that moment where you realized you had to pick and choose between your authentic self and your family dynamic, you separated. And when you separated, you disassociated a little bit from your truth. You moved away from your authenticity. You walked away from your knowing. You walked away from a lot of your gifts so that you could basically be seen, heard, loved, nurtured, and safe, which didn't really work out for us, but that's what we thought we would do. And we did that so we could create duality. And duality gives us a dual perspective. It gives us this perspective of unevolved material reality, super consciousness, non-physical reality. So in non-physical reality, there is nothing but basically desire, manifestation, desire, or what I like to teach is creation, experience. I create, I experience. I create, I experience. I create, experience. That's a higher level of manifestation. Lower level of manifestation is I desire, I create. I desire, I create. So what I'm really working with my students right now that are in the academy and in my my paid Facebook group is that when we are working to create a unified state of being, you cannot unify your partnership with your spouse, your kids, your job, your community, your government until you get right with this. And that's where all of your comfort zones are leaving right now, because light workers are famous for basically claiming that they're light workers and living hardcore in the matrix. And I'm going to really go into that tonight in the question and answer, you know, what is the matrix collective versus what is the light worker collective. And suffering I define as living in both worlds. When you're living in both worlds, you're going to suffer, because here you are, you have all of this knowing, you have all of this truth inside of you, you have all of this deep desire to be of service, you have this unwavering sensation that there shouldn't be money and all of these things, yet at the same time you're being forced to live amongst a rule set and a mindset that is completely out of alignment, but because you harbor fear, and let me know if I'm skipping because my internet's going a little funny, you're having to live in dual worlds. So the universe is basically making the matrix so uncomfortable for you that you will remember, put yourself back together, and basically integrate with that ego self and move out of disassociation and back into self. It's almost like you left yourself for your family, you left yourself for the church, you left yourself for society, and this energy right now is basically the other side of that cycle where you are leaving all of these other things and returning back to yourself. So just as painful as it was for a little 3-4-year-old child to leave themselves and put themselves completely into their parents' faith, into their church's faith, into their society's faith. I mean, your children that are super codependent, you can basically mark the moment they give themselves up. If they are having a hard time sleeping, if they are super sensitive, if they are super codependent, that is a marker that they have begun to abandon themselves. And they are using you as their intuition, they're using you as God, faith, they're using you as full support, they're using you as survival. And as soon as they abandon their own knowing, they put all of their faith and energy into you. And if you know, and this is exactly how it works, is the parents that raised us didn't have access to their own intuition, so they were using the collective's intuition or the collective's knowing, which is rules, regulation, logic, fear, you know, don't think, don't feel, don't say that, don't be that, don't look like that, and it created a more of a separation. So now is the return to self. And the cool thing about the Gemini energy is it is amplifying all of your dual worlds right now. So you can see, you know, you're really moving into more awareness of the I am, and then you know who you are in your spiritual realm, and then you close your eyes and think about your bank account. Well, now I've got to be another person. Oh shoot, I got to be another person in my family. I got to be another person. So I want you to literally do a little exercise for me tonight, and I want you to count how many different personalities that you have to basically drop in and out of to get through your daily life, and know that anything that's going out of alignment or negative in your life is basically to get you to be yourself in all areas. That means if this group needs to be removed because you're not able to be yourself, then that will leave. If you cannot be yourself in a job, that job will leave. Because eventually what will happen is you will have to face your fear, and as soon as you face your fear, it's like a cloud. You walk through it, and the universe shows up and takes care of you. You're going to walk through the veil, and you're going to go, oh, all I had to do was face the fear. All I had to do was be hungry for a bit. All I had to do was be alone for a bit. All I had to do is basically quit the job and, let go. That's why I've been teaching so much in the Academy about surrender, because as the veil drops, you will see what's on the other side is everything you've been waiting for. But you've got to have faith. Like I was talking last week, as the universe is saying, give me your $100 and I'll give you $1 million. But there's going to be a moment where you aren't holding anything, and that's what faith is, where you've got to trust in something that you were taught for a really long time didn't exist. The universe doesn't support you. God doesn't support you. It's like you've got to take care of the people who have taken care of you. But a lot of times, the people who have taken care of you are no longer taking care of you, and you've got 3D obligation locked into those relationships, and you're doing this push-pull. So I just wanted to pipe in, give you my 2 cents. The sound advice that I wanted to give you guys is, I just want you to be very aware that if anything is really going haywire, or anything that appears negative is a shortcut for you, your higher self has lined up everything that you need to get to the other side of this. And the other side of this is unity of self. The other side of this is basically bringing all of your energy back together, bringing the disassociated parts of yourself, bringing all your wounded inner children back, bringing all those fractal pieces of you back, and then higher self and able to integrate into that and make one solid universe. And when you're operating from one solid universe, you don't have mismatched manifestations. You don't have the manifestations that are bittersweet. The job you want, but the coworker from hell. The money that you need, but then the bill comes in the mail. When you're separate, you are manifesting from 2 separate viewpoints, because everything about quantum is focus. But if you're unconscious over here with this version of yourself, this part of you is still focusing on what it does not have. And if it's focused on what it does not have, that is a really strong vibration that the universe is listening to. And if you're focused over here on what you want, and you're doing all your visualizations and you're practicing, then you are going to start getting that, but you're also going to get this. So now you can see why the universe is going, okay, tough love, time for the 2 of you to work it out. It's like, I call it the reparenting project right now, because you're having to reparent this 5-year-old ego inside of you that is literally throwing constant tantrums about how afraid they are, and about how scared they are to let go, and how they can't trust the universe. And higher self is saying, until you trust, we cannot integrate. So it's a fast-paced integration for the next probably year. Depending on how much you allow, believe it or not, when you surrender, you're allowing yourself to come back together, healing from the inside out. And that's when your intuition really starts to click. You will not trust yourself until you come back together, until these 2 pieces come together. Me being a Gemini, I can tell you from years of living dual sides of the Gemini, where you feel like a different person, and it's really easy for you to be the chameleon, and it's really easy for you to be what everybody needs you to be in the moment, because being on both sides of the sign, being in the shadows and the light, you know what people are thinking and know what people are needing before they need it. And Gemini is the power of communication. So it's about being able to explain all of that. So the Gemini energy that you're able to tap into right now is really about harnessing the gift of the Gemini, harnessing the gift of the twins. The 2 identities inside of you should be really projected right now, which means you're probably questioning some of the out of alignment things that you're doing still, and going, why am I still doing this? Like, why am I still experiencing this? But look on the right side of that. Look at how aware you are. You know, 2-3 years ago, you weren't even aware enough to realize you were doing that. So this is a really powerful time. And then after this, we move into the Cancer energy. Cancer energy is all about like healing all those feelings that go with all that separation, but as a unity. You know, if you were to look at as going through a bunch of basically tough love reparenting right now, or what I like to say, you know, almost like marriage counseling, of the two aspects of yourself really coming together, and the body being the balance point, because the body's holding the neutrality of, I don't care who's in charge, I just want to know what we're supposed to do. I'm assigned to take care of ego, I'm assigned to take care of higher self, and I'm also assigned to communicate to the rest of the universe with this thing I have called DNA. So I can expand into a higher consciousness, or I can crumble in density, and both are a fine experience. So I just want to know what's going on. And that's what's going on right now is there's a lot of detoxing going on in the body. There's a lot of letting go. There's a lot of surrendering. There's a lot of loss. And through loss, through the broken heart of loss, love searches for a home. And so when love searches for a home, it's usually found in nature. It's usually found in those who are in non-judgment. And just allow yourself to go, the only thing that's happening right now is my life is not falling apart. It's falling together. My job is not falling apart. It's getting out of the way so that I can be more of myself. I can speak more of my truth. I can play. I can do the things that I came here to do and embrace the person that I am. So I am going to get off because I've been speaking way too long, and I am going to get into our Quantum Life TICA group right now, and there's 16 questions for tonight, lots of new members. So I'm going to go in there and give them a couple of hours of a live channeling, live question and answer. Any of you guys who are wanting to join us that are not yet in this group, you can always just reach out to me in this forum in the comment section, and we can send you a link, or you can find it on your own. And if you do join, just let us know you joined so we can give you access right away before this week's workshop, because I am going to be in the second week of this week's workshop that you'll have full access to, called Milking Frequency. And it is the art of focus, and it is basically about healing these two sides of duality and bringing the aspects of yourself together so you can fully integrate and start living a pretty fun existence. I will tell you, I've been at this for a really long time. I've always prided myself on walking my talk. I expose every shadow to my group. I don't hold anything back. They've known about every breakup. They've known about every money trouble. They've known about everything that I've experienced along the way, because that allows me to show in real time how shadow work works. And as I have really moved into this love and unity of myself, I will tell you that the manifestations are just getting sweeter and sweeter and sweeter and more pure, and they're lasting. The rug's not getting ripped out from underneath you anymore. The abundance is there, the love is there, the support is there, the tribe is there. It's like everything that I was needing or lacking was coming from the lack of my own unity within myself. So I'm going to continue to do the teaching the way that I do it. You're all welcome to join me on this wild, fun ride. Or you can hang out in this group, and I will try to jump in this group every week and give you a little update. So I'm going to sign off from this group. I'm going to jump into our TICA group, and I will start the question and answer. See you guys on the flip side.